I get asked this question a lot. Eddie, how do I know who to believe? Everybody out there is selling. Everybody out there is portraying their lives and their businesses as if they're making 10 million bucks a day and everything is fantastic and they have beautiful love lives and they have everything and the cars and the businesses and the clothes, and everybody's selling me the 5 or 7 steps how to do that. How do I believe and who can I believe? And that's a question which has been asked over the centuries. Because in the old days, in my days, there was no social media, there was no internet, there were no computers when I was growing up. And basically over the centuries, all the knowledge has been passed down generation to generation by the elders of the tribe, by the rabbis, by the wise men, by the clergy, by anybody who was considered to be the wise men of the tribe. So you didn't really have to ask very much, and people took that for granted, that those people knew what they were talking about. And now, with social media, everybody's saying everything, and everybody is saying what everybody else is saying. And I agree, that's a big, big problem. How do you know who to trust? How do you know who to believe? Let's say you have this, and you know what? I'm going to try to be, and I'm being very honest here about trying to be. I'm going to try to be objective here. You have a 25-year-old kid, a kid for me, given the fact that I'm 65 already. But let's say you have this 25-year-old kid, and he's a business coach. And I'm going to say something which might surprise you. The fact that he's 25 doesn't mean he might not be a fantastic, a great business coach. Yes, he can. And you know what? Zen mind, beginner's mind. In other words, somebody maybe who does not have 50,000 years of experience, his mind might think in different ways and he might be open and not conditioned. So maybe he will be a fantastic coach for somebody, a business coach or a relationship coach, I don't know, or a life coach or whatever coach. However, the thing is like this. You have to be really, really careful. And you have to inquire about who he's worked with and how that person has helped anybody. And if he's 25, you might have some doubts about his experience. I've seen so many people try to go on the easy way and either become coaches or consultants or middlemen in business. In other words, they're not producing themselves. I've seen so many young business advisors, business coaches. I've talked to a lot of them. And the first thing I ask, how many businesses have you built up? What have you done in your life in business? And they'll say, yeah, I worked for this company and that company, and I was in this position in the corporate world, and then I left and I did this online coaching certification course, or not even online, or something else, and now I coach businesses. Well, like I said, it could be that that kid is a great business coach. However, I would check very, very carefully before taking somebody that age who maybe hasn't done very much himself personally before I take him to coach me in any business. Again, and I'm going to give you the other side, the flip side. The fact that somebody has, you know what? I'm going to put it on the table here like this. I have 40 years of being an entrepreneur, 40 years being in business. And I've been, thank God, I had more luck than anything else. But I've been very successful in business. I've built up 8-figure companies. I've built up a 7-figure company after I got divorced from scratch. And yet, what does that mean for somebody else? The fact that somebody has experience. even 40 years. Maybe you have experience, but you don't know how to coach anybody. Maybe you have experience, but you're obsolete. You're an elephant. You're thinking in the old ways because that's what you're conditioned to think. So that's the other side. The fact that somebody has experience doesn't necessarily make him good. I'll give you a great example of this in the martial arts, which I teach also. I see so many people in their 50s, 40s, 50s, even in their 60s, and they're on the mat and they're training and practicing, and I see mistakes which I know they have been doing for all their lives. They've been doing the same mistakes for 40 years. They've been doing the same mistakes for 30 or for 20 years. And you know why? Because their sensei, their teacher, didn't correct them at the beginning. And when you don't correct somebody at the beginning, they do the mistake over and over until it becomes a habit, and then they become conditioned. So the fact that he's 60 years old and he's been on the mat for 40 years, that doesn't mean that he's not doing, that doesn't mean he's not doing things in the wrong way or doing mistakes. So then you're going to tell me, but Eddie, now you gave me two sides, and basically every time you said something different. And that's right. Life is all about paradoxes. We're dancing within the paradoxes of life. There is no clear-cut answer. A kid of 25 can be a fantastic business coach. A 70-year-old guy can be an amazing business coach. I don't know. It depends on the person. So if you're looking for anybody in any area to learn from, to have as a mentor, to be your guide, I think experience is important, yet it's not always enough. I think it's the person behind the experience. And he could be young, he could be older, he could have more experience, he could have less experience. The most important question is, what kind of results did he get his clients? And if you go and interview some of the clients and they tell you he is amazing, he brought amazing results for me in my business, in my life, in my relationships, in whatever, in my career, then maybe you have a good shot at having a great person to learn from or to guide you. That should be maybe the main test. Go and see the results that he got for his clients or she got for her clients.